without saying what the problem is, it's hard for me to tell you how to resolve every issue offhand. Been doing a lot of that for a lot of years, managing people, and over the years I've learned you don't really have to tell people what to do, you just gotta show them what to do. We'll take it from there.
Does that cover all of them? Doug, do you have anything else? Ed? Tammy?
No.
Kathy?
Yeah.
All right, thanks. Let's see. I forgot to do it with you, Rick, so I just tried to do it all the same, and then I'm gonna come back to you guys, because I wanted to give you each opportunity. We ask you guys questions, so I'm gonna go back around. I didn't want to do it, I forgot it with you, so I wanted to try to keep it the same. So, Rick, you first. We ask you questions, we interviewed you. If there's something you want to stand up, something you want to say, A, if you have any questions for us, or B, if you just have something good to offer that you feel needs said, or that you want to say about the process or township in general, or anything you have to offer.
One thing I got to say is we need to get this mess straightened out. It can't go on like this, as we're on this township. It can't go on much longer. Something's gotta be done, gotta work together and get it solved.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to wait a little bit,
You gotta- Like I said the other night, you know, everybody's not gonna agree all the time. Somebody's gotta give and take some now and then. I mean, me and Doug had to get it, me and Bus never agreed, but we all usually worked it out. That's what it's gotta be. You can't go on like this. And this Facebook and that's gonna ruin this township.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Tom? Same thing to you. We ask you questions. If you got any questions for us or anything good to offer that you want to speak about before, this is your
Well, you know,
last.
like I said, those old guys, they didn't have all this email and Facebook, all that stuff, you know. And I run field trial dogs for years. And as soon as, I mean, you would take maybe not get what you deserved at the field trial. You went home, worked your dogs, went back the next week and run them. When they come up with this Facebook stuff and email, that's all week long, they fought back and forth, back and forth. And today, it's going to the, let's say it's going to the dogs, because the people are not getting along just for that reason. So, that's another thing, that if somebody needs me, they call me on the phone, we'll talk. But as far as me sitting around playing on text and that, forget it. I'm not gonna argue back and forth and that there, I'm not doing it. It's gonna be for the betterment of the community and what goes on in here.
Anything else? All right, Bus, same thing to you.
I said about all I need to say. My record speaks for itself. And I have time to spend on this job.
Yeah.
Most people don't have time to spend on it.
That it?
That's it.
You prefer John or
It's fine, either
John?
one.
What's your preference?
Jonathan.
Jonathan, same question to you, or same time. Do you have any questions for us, or anything good to offer, or anything you want to say? Now's the time to say it.
No, I'm good. Said what I had to say up there.
go one more lap around, and I'd just like you guys to say a little bit about yourselves, what's your background, what's your experience, and, you know, for the people in here that don't know you, and, you know, you guys all been here a long time, tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you do, what your interests, how long you've been here, what your qualifications are. Your family, whatever you want to say. So, last lap around. Rick?
Well, I've lived in the township for 45 years. I got a small farm, I worked for Columbia Gas for 25 years, driving truck, running equipment. And they got rid of 600 of us in 2000. So I went, worked doing dirt work around houses. Did that for what, I think 6 years. And I went to work for Amity for what, I think 2 years, Amity Asphalt. And then I went to pipeline. I'm retired. I got all the time. I've got, well, married, I've got 3 kids. I can't put anything else.
Okay. Tom?
Well, I was born here, raised here, worked here, 40 years in the coal industry. Worked for Valley Camp for 19 years. I bossed for, there was a USA union in Little Washington started up to do coal mine construction. After Valley Camp shut down, I worked for them and for 2 weeks, and then I bossed for them for about 4 or 5 years. And I went out to Bailey and put a bird in out there, a centrifugal dryer in the prep plant. Superintendent hired me on there, and I spent all the rest of my time there and retired from there. And like I said, I was a local union president for 19 years, and that we never had a grievance. And I had a lot of good years. Like my parents, good parents. And we had farm. I was raised on a dairy farm, and I have 200 acres, just about, right at 200 acres, and I got beef cattle, and plant corn eggs, and sell some bulls. I used to run field trial dogs, and I mean, I sold a lot of dogs, and had a lot of fun. But my wife got sick, and I had to retire the 4 that I was running, and I just, you know, but that's a pretty good life. And Ethan Ward told me one time, if everybody stayed on their hill, tended their business like you do, I'd be out of a job.
Thank you. Bus?
Well, I was born and raised here. 50 years ago, I bought a backhoe. Started putting in pipes for Donegal Township. And later started plowing snow for Donegal Township. I plowed half the roads for 15 years probably, half the roads of the township. And repaired any amount of slips in the township. And I did the township welding for a long time. And was a supervisor for 6 years. I was a supervisor when the hurricane went through, Ivan, and the printer wrecked the township, but we survived. And that's about it, I guess. I'd like to go on trying to help the township.
Hello?
Yes,
Thank you. Jonathan?
I live here in town, actually across the street. Been here a resident now for 11 years. I was born and raised here. I went to grade school here, and then we moved away later. I got 15 years management experience, different size groups. Right now I'm managing 18 people. I chose to move back to this community because I liked it and what it was, and this is where I wanted to live and raise my children, which is why I purchased a house here. And that's my goal, keep it the same, keep this town what it is.
Thank you.
Would it be too controversial if I asked your favorite color of tractor?
That might start,
That may
that might start a
narrow it
real
down.
fight. Let's not go there.
That'd be bigger than just a super.
Well,
That's funny, though.
I want to say one thing. First of all, thank you all four for putting your names in and stepping up. I appreciate it, and I'm sure everybody in this room, and every resident appreciates it. Also, for all you've done already in the community, all of you. No matter who this board appoints, I would hope and encourage us all to move forward, work together, do what we can to help that newly appointed supervisor and the board as a whole to come together, to heal, to help each other, and move forward. I think Donegal Township right now is just a chip off the ice block of what's going on in this country, and it's not good. And it's just a small resemblance of that. And we need to come together, work together. We're a small community. People wonder why big government doesn't work. Look at the small government. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we're all human. We all started out as friends. We all should be friends. We're all neighbors. You got to work together for the common good of the community. That's what we're all here for. So, regardless of the outcome of this meeting, I hope everybody leaves here with that in mind and can move forward to that end goal. So, before we move forward there, I wanted to wait for public comment till after all the applicants had a chance to speak, so you guys could hear what they have to say. So at this time, before we take the next step, I'm going to open it to public comment. Does anybody have anything to offer?
I do. I want to say thank you. I appreciate every single one of you, including the solicitor. A lot of people are looking at us, and a lot of people are saying, who in their right mind wants that? But obviously, these people felt in their heart they could do something, and I appreciate that, and thank you very much.
Anyone else? Nobody? Okay. I want to thank the board for coming together and picking a solicitor, whether it's for a month or 3 months or whatever. I think that's a step in the right direction, regardless of whether it's everybody's first choice. John, never met you before this night. Thank you for coming. I hope you don't regret your decision, but thanks for being here and stepping up. So I'll also ask you, obviously, this is my first time sitting here, got sort of thrown in, this is not a common thing. So I expect you as starting immediately effective that you will keep us in line for anything
If I notice something that you're doing wrong, I'll mention.
we say or do. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And anybody else out there the same. So at this time, I'm going to do things a little different. I'm going to do it the most fair, honorable way that I know how to do it. I had a question from one of the applicants after last meeting about how we can do this, because whether that's a traditional way or just the way that it's done is relevant. There's no guidelines that set the rules on how to conduct the meeting. Okay, just so you know, I read it. Got this weekend, I went through it all. So I'm going to do it with agreeance of the board, the best way I know how, the most fair, rational, logical way to do it. And I think I came up with a way to do that because the question was presented, it was a valid question, that the way and it's irrelevant because the board didn't pick somebody, so it doesn't matter. I'm not saying anything derogatory about that, but it's just the way it is. So the question was posed, how do you do it fairly? Because the way it's been done, or at least the way we did it the other night, was whoever the first applicant called on has an unfair advantage if they're if we went in alphabetical order, if we picked out of a hat, put the names in a hat, whoever that first applicant that's called on, if they get 3 votes, they're in. So the other ones don't even have a chance. So what I'm going to propose, the way to do it, is, so you got 5 pieces of paper here with all 4 names on it. So first one I'm going to ask from members of the board is, we can do this 2 ways. We can ask for nominations and then vote on those nominated, or we can just vote on the 4.
That's confusing.
Yeah, I'm kinda confused.
So
Yeah.
we have 4 applicants.
Vote on all 4.
How it was done before was, you would just make a motion, and you guys took turns making a motion. But that motion, if you pick somebody, if they get picked, nobody else gets a shot at it. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
Well, that's the difference between an appointment and an election. I'm just saying,
I understand that.
this isn't an election.
Okay, so we can do the best of both worlds. So we'll ask for nominations, and whoever wants to nominate, and second, they go on the ballot, and then we all vote.
Why don't you take your paper and everybody gets one with the 4 names on it, and they take their choices, 1, 2, 3, 4, and see if you have more ones for a person.
Well, that's why I have 5 pieces of paper, all 4 names. We're not gonna do them 1 through 4. We're just gonna ask them to vote for 1 candidate. And then we tally the votes. And if first one to get 3 is appointed. That's what we're doing. I was explaining what I intended, Pam. So everybody's in agreement, so we're going in the right direction.
Let's go, let's see what we got.
So, does anybody have a problem or issue with doing it that way?
Explain it.
Yeah,
again.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be the first, there should, obviously you could do an anonymous ballot and whoever's name is on top. Whoever wins the most votes wins. I'm just gonna, I don't want to say I'm correcting you, but obviously if there are 5, well, there's 4 of you. But there's 5 of you voting. The first one, so you could actually split the vote and everybody votes for a separate person, but somebody might get 2, not 3.
It has to be.
And the 2 would win. You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you have to have a majority of the board.
Right, the majority of the vote. It's just a straight majority.
Whatever happens with the paper, an official vote has to be made.
Has to be made in public, you can't
Yeah.
do it.
You can't
Yeah.
do that.
That's never.
So, that's, you see what I'm saying? So, let's just, for example, John Doe gets 3 votes. He's clearly the winner. Someone's gonna have to nominate John Doe, someone's gonna have to, or motion for John Doe, someone's gonna have to second that motion, and then John Doe is gonna have to publicly get those 3 votes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm not talking about doing this in the other room. I'm
Okay.
talking about doing
No,
it
I
right here.
understand, but
Right.
it's still a secret ballot if you are just marking. See what I'm saying?
No, what my suggestion was, and I talked to the solicitor at P-Stats today. I talked to the solicitor for P-Stats. There's no problem issue doing this the way, if we all agree on it. And he understands what I was trying to do, and that that's the most
Well,
fair way to do it.
that's what I
So
started out
if-
with.
if-
Explain
So
it
it's
again.
combined, okay, so if you want to take the
Can I,
best,
can
go
I
ahead.
explain real quick, JD? He's just trying to get down to the person that would be nominated first for you guys to vote on.
Doesn't have to be voted on.
Instead of just randomly picking, you're voting on the person that you would vote on first.
You want to make like a not, like, so. if
So we can, we can combine both, where you guys can still, if you wanted,
You're trying to get.
we'll open it for nominations. So if you say, I nominate Jonathan Plains, somebody seconds, okay, he's in the running.
But
You
you're
don't
wanting-
vote on him,
But you're wanting to use this as your nomination.
those are the 4 names that are here. So you nominate. If they're nominated, they're in the running. Then once we have the nominations, you close the nominations. Whoever, we might have all 4 nominated, and that's fine. You might have 2 nominated, and that's fine. Then you close, if there's no more nominations, you close the nominations, we each get a paper, and you each pick one. Then you turn them in, we do it in public, they can come up and see them when they're done. We read them out, and
I
if
think
there's
that's where
3
you run-
votes,
I think that's where you run into trouble. This used to, years ago, this was, the McGuffey School Board used to vote that way. And then the solicitor told them, no, you can't do that, it's violating the law. You have to cast your vote in public.
that isn't, we're doing it right here in front of everybody.
Okay, I don't.
We're doing it right here in front of everybody. I specifically asked the solicitor
I understand what you're
for
saying.
P-stats to see, because I thought that was the most fair, honest way to do it and to give everybody an
I'm
opportunity.
okay with it up to that point,
Up to which point?
of doing anything on paper that everybody doesn't, you're not conscious of the vote at the time.
Oh, no, what I intended was each one of us have a paper. We each strike our vote. I can read them, he can read them, we can have somebody from the audience read them, I don't care. And they can be all on display to see.
If we read our own, that probably might be all right.
Doesn't matter, I was
Well, it doesn't
trying
matter.
to.
Wait, I'm still confused.
I think the
How
only-
about this? How about this? I make a motion that we accept all 4 applicants. That does away with the problem, right?
Oh, we can accept all 4.
That doesn't make any sense.
Which,
Yeah.
If you're gonna use the paper thing, why wouldn't you take the majority on the paper, the first name that has the majority, and then the board votes on that person
Publicly.
publicly?
Yeah.
If, say your name is on there, okay, and you did it on paper, and you had 3 of the 5, right? Your name would be the first name that was presented by motion to be accepted for nomination,
For the
Okay.
appointment. There's
right?
no nominations.
And then the, well, I know, nomination may
Yeah.
not be the right word, but then if you can't have a majority
Then you go on to
to
the next
nominate, then
one.
you go on to the next person.
Hey, Ed,
Yeah.
I think I understand what JD's trying to do. It's because you have 4 people that are all good people, and 2 of them people are gonna know that they were at the bottom end of the list, and the way you're doing it, you only know who the top person was. And I think that he's just trying to make it so you don't, like whenever you did for the last one, when he nominated Lee and there was no second, he went out of here in shame for that. But, you know, he dug his bed, he lied in it. But you're talking about 4 good people here. And if JD does it the way he wants to do it, the second and third and fourth aren't gonna know where they were at, and it won't really matter. What matters is we're gonna have a supervisor up there that is all voted on collectively. And that's why I agree with what JD said, because you do have 3 other people here that, you know what I'm saying, you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
trying to get.
I'm trying to do it the most fair way for everybody, because the other way, as I see
a
it,
little bit.
the first person that, okay, Ed says, before we even get done, I pick bus, okay, we vote on him, he gets it. That doesn't give anybody else a shot.
That's
I don't think,
exactly the way other boards do it.
Yeah, that's the way the
An
school board does
appointment.
it.
It
Doesn't-
is, an
okay.
appointment, whether you like it or not, that is what it is.
I understand that, that doesn't mean that's the
Yeah.
best way to do it,
Yeah.
or the most fair and reasonable way. That's why I called P-Studs, talked to the solicitor, if the board all agrees on that, he totally understands what I was trying to do.
Well, he said
if-
even if you do the papers, they still all have to vote on them all. You're still voting.
He's trying to get the nominee.
Yeah, I got you.
With, yeah,
I got it.
And
right.
you can move straight to the vote. All I'm saying, if there's, I don't think there's any benefit, and if you guys feel differently, more importantly, if you 4 applicants feel differently, I don't think there's any benefit with all the division in the township, how things have gone, to hear somebody have to say no or to, I just, you know what I mean? That
You
doesn't,
might feel that way, but it still has to be done in public, and
Yeah.
I don't know if writing it on a piece of paper signifies being in public.
it is in public in front of everybody.
What if you wrote it on a piece of paper, everybody wrote their number one candidate? Or you can even number 1, 2, and 3.
Well, no, there's boxes beside each name, all you do is check a box,
And then,
just like a
just like
ballot.
you're on TV,
What? Okay.
have number
JD
1,
was supposed to.
number 2,
Right,
number
and
3,
that's what it
and
should
whoever
be.
got 3 or more votes is gonna be it, unless you can, that's.
In the majority.
Well, you can only vote for one, we're only filling one
Right,
position.
but to the
Right.
solicitor's
Because they didn't
point,
meet the deadline.
we could go through that exercise and still not pick anybody.
Well, you're right.
I'm
Well, no,
not,
you
can
got
I,
5, something's gonna happen.
can I ask a question? Can I'm just asking,
Go ahead,
I thought that the last time when you voted and you voted, I thought the vacancy board was to come in and then decide your vote was like when you hold back the vice president's vote and then he's the deciding vote. That's not right?
This is a whole new board,
Okay.
has nothing to, it's a clean slate, it's a
Okay,
whole new board.
okay.
Bus put his name in, so we have 4 instead of 3. We could have had 10, we could have had 2, we could have had none.
Okay,
You know what I mean? It's a whole new circumstance.
thank you.
John, you have any input here or guidance?
I'm just, you're worried about the prejudice, is that, I'm not quite understanding, that the last person will feel slighted, is that your?
Well, I just don't think there's any benefit to, we're a small community. We're all neighbors, we all, you know, what's the benefit to saying, you know, well, then he said no to me, she said no to me, whatever. And again, to have the first person have the advantage,
Well, let me just
And then-
ask this question, because, I mean, this is what I assumed was gonna
See
happen.
how the first person.
So,
the
assume
first person
I was
could have a
running,
different
which I
vote.
know
It really matters.
So, wouldn't it just be,
He doesn't
all right,
humiliate anybody.
Kathy, who do you
It's
vote
here.
for? John,
I mean, I think they just
Tammy,
need
who do you
to get
vote
it
for?
done, be
John,
done with it.
JD,
Spend a half
Fred.
hour.
and I would,
But we need to get this show.
Well, I'm sorry, Ed,
He would vote last.
Bill,
Yeah.
Mr. Teagarden, John, I win.
You want, you can do it, you can even do it on paper.
Well,
And
I mean,
then, here it is,
you
here's
could
my
do it on
vote,
paper.
here's my vote.
It's
I'm
not
not-
really much different writing
No.
it down or saying it orally.
No, other than.
I'm just, it would seem to
Other
be,
than you might be convicted by the next person before you're out.
well, I guess that's a
You
plus,
know, that-
that's why I asked what you were trying to
That's why I'm
avoid.
saying.
But you're
Never
all
stop that.
adults, I presume you're
Never
all
stop that.
capable of making your own
Then announce your vote.
I'll,
fair vote.
I will go a step further, since you're, I'll go a step further. I'm gonna go a step further with this, because everybody in this room knows, except for the new solicitor. There's been a lot of contention, a lot of division up here, okay? I think doing it this way will make it more clear for the board members that maybe they've got a struggle between their head and their heart. And maybe they'll vote without any influence or prejudice or whatever, where it's just their head and their heart. And you're new, so you don't know all the
I
circumstances,
got
but
that. In the end, isn't everybody gonna know who voted
Yes.
for who?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
not necessarily.
Well,
Why would you? So you check who you vote for, you
No,
turn it in,
You have
I think
you
you
read
have
them,
to.
and you read them off.
You have to.
We have to
That's
announce the
the part
vote.
of the
We
being.
do announce the vote.
We have to announce who, how I voted.
Oh,
That's
why?
recorded as part of the vote.
It has to be in the minutes
You
how
have
you
to,
vote.
you have to, yeah, you can't vote without it, according to how you voted.
It has to be.
I don't know if that's.
I don't know, that's not what he said.
I'm
but-
voting to go to the bathroom.
Okay, go to the
Me
vote.
too, second.
He just said that was different.
That's not what the piece said. He said if we agreed on that,
I think you can do it either way. Do it any way you want.
again, I'm trying to move forward and.
I think it's worth a hybrid vote.
JD,
You're gonna vote in
I
private.
kind of think your paper idea is a good idea to start because the board's usually divided 2-2.
Sure.
So if you put their first choices down and then read those choices, you can't change it because then we're not gonna have, oh, wait a minute, my buddy wrote it on this.
That's what
one.
I'm saying,
I think that's a good idea,
you
actually.
separate the sides, if you will, for lack of a better term, or division, or whatever, and just,
Right,
Is this
then they still have to vote on it at the end for.
Right.
for-
Well, right, and
It's
then,
public, to be put on record.
well,
Right.
you would say that it was Rick, and then everybody's gonna have to vote, or it's Tom, everybody's gonna have to vote, or it's Buzz. I don't know if that's.
I thought you got a winner, you could have a record.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree with
What
you.
did you say?
Probably.
What did you say?
What's that, Bus?
So you've been screwing stuff up for 5 years. Here you are again.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry you feel that way. Trying to think, I'm trying to do what I think is the best way to handle it, the most fair way, so I'm sorry you feel
Try
that
to
way.
find a fair way. I understand.
Well, JD, I give you the same appreciation I gave all the others. You're the only one sitting in that chair, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
I guess that's probably
Lots of times, we'd all like to throw our hands up.
It's still public. What I'm saying, if you want to do the best of both worlds, you do a voice nomination, okay? If all four are nominated, they're all four on here. If three of them's nominated, you cross that one off. Then each one gets a paper, each one gets one vote.
Well, then.
Then you bring the votes in, whether we can all turn them over to him, you can all turn them over to me. I read one vote for Rick, one vote for Tom, whatever they are, and they can all be out here on display.
How do we
It's
record?
on-
How
I
do we
don't,
record
I
the
ain't
vote?
regulated, you can't do that.
I think it needs to be in there, Ed votes this way, you.
What does it matter who votes for who?
It needs to be in the
It
minutes.
has to be,
That's part of the minutes.
That's not law. That's not,
Then we don't all agree on that.
I'm saying, I talked with solicitor for reasons, that's not law.
The only thing we agree on is we don't like this.
Alright,
Why don't you use your paper
you
for the
missed your opportunity, me and Kathy were out there, you guys could have voted on whatever you wanted.
I make a motion that we do the paper way,
That's all he's up there for.
that, to at least get a nominee on this table. Is that what you're asking for? To
Well,
get-
if you want to do the nomination thing, you just do it by voice.
No, but I mean, if that's what you're.
And then you pass the paper and vote for who you want. I thought that was pretty simple, what's not to understand.
No, I make.
Do any of you four applicants have, do you all four understand what I'm saying and what I'm trying to do? Does any of the four of you not understand what I'm proposing or trying to do?
Please do something.